Fabrica! Welcome to a new episode of Let's Talk Taíno. I'm Priscilla Colon, co-founder and creative here at Casareito, where our mission is to promote the Taíno language and culture. Before we begin today's episode, I want to remind you that Casareito has launched its new website, casareito.com, where you can find all kinds of resources for the Taíno language and culture, including our kids' books, which help connect kids to the natural world, and learn about the Taíno language and ancestors as well. And there's more. You're also going to find our Taíno digital course where you can learn about the Taíno language and culture using the latest language learning software. This course is being created in collaboration with 7,000 Languages, an amazing nonprofit that helps indigenous groups around the world revitalize and maintain their indigenous languages. Jajóm 7,000 Languages. Now, on today's episode, we're going to be reviewing a couple of things. School subjects, which we talked about earlier, and how to ask and answer questions in the past tense. That means that you're going to be asking about things that you've done in the past. So today, we're going to be asking and answering the question, Katei buk roko hawa itpa? What did you study? Now, to answer this question, you can use this simple phrase. Dak roko hawa itpa? I studied. And then you insert the subject that you studied. Simple enough, right? Now, let's go over our vocabulary so we can see some of these subjects that we can use in our sentences. Today's vocabulary includes science, guarokot, astronomy, turei guarokot, medicine, bohike guarokot, meteorology, akalia guarokot, geography, guacayara guarokot, law, aluwatanuk guarokot, political science, politikuat guarokot. You may have noticed the pattern here. In each of these words, there's an important word that appears at the beginning, and then it's followed by guarokot, science. For example, akalia guarokot literally means weather science or meteorology. Now, are you ready to start asking and answering questions about what you've studied? I am, so let's get started. Let's start with the question, Katei buk roko hawa itpa? What did you study? First, we're going to have to figure out how to complete the phrase, Dak roko hawa itpa? I studied. So for that, let's take a look at the picture. I see the sun, some planets, and a star. That gives me a clue. I think we're talking about astronomy. And that's right. So, do you remember how to say astronomy in Taíno? That's right, turei guarokot. So, let's complete the sentence to answer the question, what did you study? Dak roko hawa itpa? Turei guarokot. I studied astronomy. You'll remember from our last episode that turei guarokot literally means science of the sky or astronomy. You saw how simple that was? Let's try the next example. Katei buk roko hawa itpa? What did you study? We're going to have to complete that phrase again. Dak roko hawa itpa? I studied. Let's take a look at that picture first. It looks like I see a stethoscope, some sort of needle for an injection, and somebody who looks like a doctor. So, can you guess what subject this person studied? Of course, medicine. Now, do you remember how to say medicine in Taíno? I'll give you a hint. Literally translated, it means the science of a doctor. That's correct. Medicine is bohike guarokot. Now let's complete the sentence. Dak roko hawait pa bohike guarokot. I studied medicine. Let's try this next example. Katei buk roko hawait pa? What did you study? Okay, let's figure out what we need to fill in the blank with. I see pictures of the weather on different days, so it looks like we're talking about meteorology, of course. Do you remember how to say meteorology in Taíno? That's right, Akalia guarokot. Now let's answer the question in Taíno. Dakroko hawait pa Akalia guarokot. I studied meteorology. Now, for the next few examples, we're going to be looking at subjects that we haven't studied before, but I think you can figure these out. Katei bukroko hawait pa? What did you study? Now, if we take a look at the picture, we're going to find some clues. I see maybe a map of the continents, a mountain, some trees and rocks, a river. Does this remind you of a school subject? That's correct. The subject is geography. Now, how do you say that in Taíno? That's right. Guacayara guarokot. Now let's complete the sentence in Taíno. Dakroko hawait pa guacayara guarokot. I studied geography. Now, if you've watched the previous episode on geography, you'll notice a few words that make up the word geography. Guacara, which is cave, and yara, which is over there. Isn't that neat? Now let's try the next example. Katei bukroko hawait pa? What did you study? Well, we're going to have to fill in that blank again, but first we have to guess what this person studied. I see that she is a judge, and judges have to study the law. That's an obvious one, right? Do you remember how to say law in Taíno? Correct! The word for law is aluwatanuk guarokot. Now, let's use it to complete the sentence. Dakroko hawait pa aluwatanuk guarokot. I studied law. Now, I know that word for the law in Taíno, aluwatanuk guarokot, is kind of long. It's a bit like a tongue twister, but I promise that if you try it out enough, you're gonna get it. It's even been a little hard for me, so I had to put in my practice time. Now let's try our last example. Katei bukroko hawait pa? What did you study? Before we fill in the blank, we're going to have to figure out what subject this person studied. The pictures remind me of government. I see the Capitol building, maybe someone who could be a lawmaker, and I see maybe a picture of someone in ancient Rome, maybe a political figure. So I think this is talking about political science. And that's correct. Now, do you remember how to say political science in Taíno? That's right. It's the last word that we learned in the previous list. And the word is politikuat guarokot. Now, let's complete the sentence and answer the question in Taíno. Dakroko hawait pa politikuat guarokot. I studied political science. Wasn't that awesome? We have now gotten so far in our Taíno studies that we can ask and answer questions about what we've done in the past. This makes you more conversant in Taíno. I mean, at this point, after 100 episodes, you can talk about your family, you can introduce yourself and say your name, talk about the weather, what languages you speak. and what you've studied in school. I am so proud of us. We've been doing a really good job. Now, why don't we review one more time everything we learned today? Rokohawa, to study. Dak rokohawa itzba, I studied. Today, sky. Guarokot, science. Today, guarokot, astronomy. Bohike, doctor. Bohike guarokot, medicine. Akalia, weather. Akalia guarokot, meteorology. Guacara, cave. Yara, there. Guacayara guarokot, geography. Aluwatanuk, law or rule. Aluwatanuk guarokot, law referring to a subject. Politikuat, politics. Politikuat guarokot, political science. Thank you as always for supporting this movement, for supporting our channel, for coming back week after week to learn Taíno along with me, because I know together we can do it. I also encourage you to sign up for our newsletter, which you can find on casareito.com, and that will help you stay in the know. You'll see new materials that we come up with, you'll see the events that we're participating in, maybe some near you, and you'll stay up to date and get sneak peeks of upcoming episodes. In the meantime, tay karaya guaitiao nagu.